the lesson of rate of change. Question number 1. Bria travels by plane often. She graphed the distance of each trip and its cost. Which of the following describes the rate at which the cost of the airfare changed? Is it A. Increased $200 every 300-mile increase? B. It increased $2 for every 3-mile increase? C. It increased $2 for every 300-mile increase? Or D. It increased $2 for every 1-mile increase? The answer is A. It increased $200 for every 300-mile increase. As you can see, 300 miles would cost $200, 600 miles would cost $400, 900 miles would cost $600, and so on. Question number 2. Trina's car uses 12 gallons of gas to travel 132 miles. If she has 6 gallons of gas in the tank, how many more gallons would she need to drive 220 miles? Is the answer A. 20 gallons, B. 11 gallons, C. 18 gallons, or D. 14 gallons? The answer is D. 14 gallons. If she travels 132 miles with 12 gallons of gas, then she would get 11 miles to the gallon. If she needs to travel 220 miles at 11 miles to the gallon, she would get 20 gallons. But she already has the 6 gallons of gas in her car, so therefore that would give us 14. Mrs. Daniels is having her class count the number of words in a book. She took their data and made a graph. What is the rate of words per page? Is it A. 120 words per page, B. 400 words per page, C. 300 words per page, or D. 9,000 words per page? The answer is C. 300 words per page. If there is 1,500 words on 5 pages, and if we divide one by the other, then we would get 300 words per page. Question number 4. If Hank traveled down the highway at 70 miles per hour, how far will he travel in 3 hours? Is the answer A. 280 miles, B. 23 miles, C. 210 miles, or D. 73 miles? Whoa. The answer is C. 210 miles. If he was traveling down the highway at 70 miles an hour for 3 hours, if we multiply the two, then we would get 210 miles. Question number 5. Kathy lives in a state where speeders are fined $14 for each mile per hour over the limit. If the speed limit was 55 miles an hour and Kathy was given a ticket for $70, how fast was she going? Is the answer A. 64 miles per hour, B. 60 miles per hour, C. 63 miles per hour, or D. 57 miles per hour? The answer is B. If she was fined $70 at $14 over the limit, then she would have been going 5 miles over the limit. If the limit was 55, then we just add 5 on, and then we would get 60. This next question is hard to see, so I'm going to move it closer to the lens. Which of the following tables matches the graph below? Is it A, B, C, or D? The answer is B. The answer is B because you can easily match up the points on this graph. Negative 3x would also match with 3y. Negative 1x would also match with 1y. They both meet at the origin, and so on. Question number 7. Daniel mows the lawn on the weekend. He graphed his earnings. What is the rate he charges to mow? Before I show you the answers, I'll move the graph a little closer because it's hard to see. Here we go. Is the answer A, $35 per lawn, B, $15 per lawn, C, $3.50 per lawn, or D, $3 per lawn? The answer is D, $3 per lawn. You can tell because 1 on the x-axis matches up with 3 on the y, 2 on the x-axis matches up with 6 on the y, and go on. Which of the following graphs matches the table below? Here we go. Is it A, B, C, or D? The answer is D. You can tell because you can easily pinpoint the locations on the D graph. You can locate negative 2 on the x-axis and then move down negative 2/3 on the y, and the line crosses through that point. You can go to negative 1 on the x-axis and then negative 2 1/3, and then the line crosses through that as well. You can go to 0 and then go down to negative 2 on the y-axis, and then the line crosses through there, and so on. The amount of time it takes to bake a batch of rolls is based on the temperature of the oven is graphed below, which describes the rate at which the baking time changed. Here we go. Is it A, it decreased by 5 minutes for every 1 degree Fahrenheit increase in temperature? B, it decreased by 1 minute for every 2 degree Fahrenheit increase in temperature? C, it increased by 2 minutes for every 1 degree Fahrenheit increase in temperature? Or D, it decreased by 1 minute for every 5 degree Fahrenheit increase in temperature? The answer is D. It decreased by 1 minute for every 5 degree increase in temperature. This one's a little complex to explain, so I'll try my best to. If it takes 50 minutes at 300 degrees and 45 minutes at 25 degrees, then we just subtract the numbers. So it'll be 325 minus 300, and then we'd get 25. Then we'd do 50 minus 45, then get 5. 25 divided by 5 would equal 5. So therefore, our ratio would be 1 minute for every 5-degree increase. Last but not least, number 10. Reggie sells t-shirts. The graph below shows his sales from many baseball games where he sells his shirts, as he changes the price of the t-shirts. Which of the following describes the rate at which the t-shirts sold change? Here we go. Is it A, it decreased by 2 shirts for every $1 increase? B, it decreased by 4 shirts for every $1 increase? C, it decreased by 8 shirts every $1 increase? Or D, it decreased by 40 shirts for every $1 increase? The answer is C. It decreased by 8 shirts for every $1 increase. If it decreases by 20 shirts every $5 increase, then we divide the two, and then get 4. Wait. No, that's wrong. Sorry, if it decreases by 40 shirts every $5 increase, then we divide the two and get 8. So your answer for this one would be that it decreases 8 shirts for every $1 increase. That is a lesson on rate of change.